Starfield is about to get its biggest update yet via the Shattered Space expansion that we've known about for quite a while since the game actually launched. Well, it's releasing at the end of the month, and Bethesda recently went on and gave us a deep dive video regarding everything we need to know about the Shattered Space DLC, and they also hot dropped an update via the Steam app beta that we're going to talk about as well. Is the Shattered Space DLC going to be enough for Bethesda to truly cement this game as a 10-year experience, or will Starfield wither away into the cosmos? We have a lot to talk about, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get into it. Real quick, guys, I'd like to thank today's video sponsor, and that is WesNemo. WesNemo Air 2 glasses are a game changer for anyone who loves movies, games, or just wants a better way to experience their digital world. The picture of these glasses are amazing. They're bright. They've got really clear colors on a screen that feels like it's 201 inches large. It's seriously like having your own personal IMAX theater wherever you go. The sound is also just as good, with powerful speakers that make it so you feel like you're in the middle of the action. And if you're trying to keep things a bit private, whisper mode lets you listen without disturbing anyone around you. And let me tell you, your gaming nights are going to get a whole lot better. They've gotten better for me. I've recently been playing a lot of Black Myth Wukong laying down in my bed. It's actually an out-of-body experience, and that's all thanks to the WesNemo Air 2S. They can turn any space into your own personal gaming theater with a giant gaming screen with awesome sound. You can play your favorite games anytime, anywhere, on the couch, lying down. Just look at this Black Myth Wukong gameplay inside of the Air 2S. The display offers vibrant colors, crisp details, making every scene come alive, and you truly get a 3D immersive experience with this thing, transporting you into the heart of Black Myth Wukong or whatever game you're trying to play. Now, there's 3 modes of screen display color settings. Now, the brightness itself is also really insane. Like, there's a maximum of 600 nits of eye-catching brightness with 10 levels of brightness adjustment, so you could click on the right side to adjust the brightness level. It's really good, especially if you're in dark environments where you need to adjust things. The edge clarity is improved significantly due to the optimization of MTF, or the modulation transfer function, which is the newly designed optical engine for these glasses. Now, in terms of the sound, like I said before, these things are amazing. They're equipped with 4 full-range speaker units with a symmetrical audio structure, and compared to WesNemo's previous model, the volume is increased by 6 decibels, which ensures a more clear listening experience. Now, as for the wearing experience, the temples have 9 levels of adjustment, making them suitable for various face shapes. The nose pads are also adjustable in 3 positions. Now, the glasses themselves only weigh about 78 grams. They also come with customized myopic lenses that can be used with snap-on installation for nearsighted users. Now, in terms of all of the devices you're able to use, first and foremost, it has a USB-C port, which enables you to directly connect to devices that support DisplayPort output, including the Samsung S24, the iPhone 15 series. Now, if you have the WesNemo adapters, you have a bunch of devices that can be connected with it, including the previous iPhone series. Now, there's also some other expansion devices you could pick up. First of all, there is the Joy Dock, which allows the direct connection to Nintendo Switch devices without the complicated operations or fixed positions. And if you own an iPhone 15 Pro series, you're not going to need to purchase the Vision Pro. You're able to simply download the app and then connect directly to the glasses to view spatial videos captured by your phone. The movie nights with the Air 2S just got a whole lot better. Like I said, you could turn any space into your own personal theater with a massive screen and awesome sound. But on top of the movies, the Air 2S are also perfect for YouTube. You can get lost in your favorite channels like mine on a giant screen. It makes every video feel like it's more real, and you're able to wear these things for hours on end without any discomfort, and there's even special eye protection to keep your eyes safe. These WesNemo Air 2Ss are more than just glasses. They're a whole new way to experience your digital world. So whether you're into movies or watching YouTube, or just want to take your gaming experience to the next level, so pick up these glasses today via the link in the description. And thanks again to WesNemo for sponsoring today's video. So starting things off, we have the new Starfield update that went live recently, and it's the 1.14 update, and it's currently available via the Steam beta. So if you guys have Steam and you have Starfield, the way you jump in and play is super easy. All you have to do is open up your Starfield on Steam, and then you just right click it, select properties, and then go down on the left side where it says betas. You click on the drop down, select the beta, and then Steam will automatically update to the new beta build. So now the question is what did this update change and improve on? Well, if we jump into the actual update itself, In the features section, they automated the process used to create models for distant LODs, or level of detail is now available. And then for the general tab, they did some general performance and stability improvements. They resolved an issue that limited the number of loaded creations to 255, which that part right there I know is a massive W for a lot of people. Next up, there were some lighting changes and enhancements that have been made throughout the game. They made several visual improvements and bug fixes for weapon models. They also improved the player's head tracking when exiting dialogue, and then the player's camera should no longer be jostled when jumping. Moving on to the gameplay tab, the Annihilator particle beam damage over time effect no longer affects companions. Robots and turrets will now take damage from EM weapons. For crafting, they addressed an issue with the boom pop dynamite recipe, and then for the elite crew, Autumn Macmillan no longer repeats herself when asking about her sister. And lastly, for the gameplay section, they addressed an issue with the crowd behavior near the well elevator in the new Atlantis spaceport when combat is initiated. Now the quests, they did a bunch of changes. First of all, they addressed an issue with the progression after speaking with Joyce Osaka in New Homestead. For the Do in Full quest, they addressed a rare issue with the delinquent spaceship appearing. The Eyewitness quest, players will no longer enter the destroyed ship on the spaceport landing pad. For hostile intelligence, they addressed an issue that could cause the door of the security office to be inaccessible if they fast travel away and then wait for the quest objective. For In Memoriam, they addressed an issue that could prevent the progression during the Speak with Sarah objective that takes place near the waterfall. And then for the Leader of the Pack, they addressed an issue that could prevent the Ashta Alpha from being aggressive. Now for the Legacy's End quest, they addressed an issue that could prevent interaction with Delgado if siding with Sistef. Now another fix for that same quest was released Crimson Fleet prisoners will no longer target Iconda after obtaining weapons. Now for the Managing Assets quest, they fixed a rare issue that can prevent Tomo from appearing at the Paradiso. There's a couple for the One Giant Leap quest. They fixed an issue that would cause incorrect music to play during the Unity scene. They fixed an issue with the audio that could occur during the credits. For One Small Step, they resolved a rare camera issue that could occur if the first Crimson Fleet ship in the tutorial is boarded. And there was just a ton of other updates. Now, in terms of locations, for Aquila, they updated some textures in the slums. They also resolved a collision issue with the bunk beds. For the deserted biotic labs, they fixed missing panels on the exterior floor. Lair of the Mantis, they resolved a minor texture issue that could appear on some panels. Now, the Londinian steam tunnels, they fixed collision in an area that would allow players to get out of bounds. There were some updates to the planet Neon. The Strat-Eklund Star Yard addressed some collision issues in that area. For the clinic, they addressed a visual issue that could appear in Dr. Cassidy's office. And in the Red Mile, they addressed a collision issue under the platforms in the final area. Moving right along to the ships. Now, this is by far one of the most hype aspects for this update, and that is some updates to the ship builder. There's a new option that has been added to the game settings to allow for toggling flip merge behavior use. So no longer do you have to glitch to do flip merging. It is now a vanilla feature. Huge shout out to Bethesda for making that happen. It's actually crazy how far shipbuilders will go to make something work, and they did it with flip merging, but now it's a vanilla feature, no longer have to glitch. Next up with the shipbuilder, they fixed an audio issue that could occur when deleting a hab. For the shipbuilder as well, they fixed a crash that could occur when modifying a ship that contained a live mine, and then they addressed an issue that would allow non-sellable ships to be sold to vendors. So RP the dream on that one. Now for the vehicle, they addressed an issue with the set active in the vehicle menu when using a gamepad. They fixed an issue with the position of wheel VFX. They addressed an issue with opening the favorites menu while entering the vehicle. Nameplates and health bars will now display consistently while in a vehicle. Settings for look sensitivity will now affect the vehicle camera. The vehicle icon will no longer display in interior maps. The vehicle lights will no longer be automatically on when loading a save. And the fast travel distance for the vehicle is now in line with other POIs and landed ships. Now for the UI, there was a ton of updates. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but there is a bunch. I'll just leave a screenshot right here and we'll talk about some of them. Now for the Xbox display setting, they resolved an issue where setting the frame rate target to 60 would automatically revert the priority back to performance. They updated the skills menu to resolve an issue with large font mode for certain languages. They addressed mass display when selling items from the ship cargo. Ammo counts should now display correctly for values over 100,000. The damage pop-up can now display numbers larger than 4 digits. The crew menu will now correctly display when someone is assigned to the player's home. The repair repair button is no longer visible in the hangar inspect menu. Healing items now preview the amount of health restored, which I honestly thought that's a nice change. Storage containers will now have their weight updated when all of the items are cleared from them. And then the ship marker in the scanner will display the correct location when docked at a space station. And then just a ton more updates to the UI. Now, in terms of the audio, they increased center channel audio usage for surround sound setups. They addressed an issue that could cause the power allocation audio to play repeatedly while the engine system is damaged, with one power allocated, and then the ecliptic mercenary voices are now use the same filtering in all languages. So now let's go ahead and get into the Shattered Space expansion details we got recently during a deep dive video on the Bethesda YouTube channel. First, let's talk about the story of House Va'ruun. Obviously, this DLC will be focusing primarily on the House Va'ruun. Now, for those of you that don't know, House Va'ruun is a reclusive and mysterious faction that has largely isolated itself from the rest of the settled systems. Now, in the expansion, we'll be visiting their homeworld of Va'ruun, which is a secluded and handcrafted location, which honestly, I really love this aspect. I think one of the biggest things it was missing in the base game, and I've said this many times, is how much they rely on procedural generation. So the fact that this DLC will be entirely handcrafted is great news. Now, during the DLC, we will rise as one of the quote-unquote promised of the House Va'ruun. So like I said, the main storyline and all of the side quests will take place on Va'ruun, and throughout our time, the player will discover what happened to the Va'ruun people and how they survived while being cut off from the settled systems. Now, the overarching theme of Shattered Space builds on the base game's exploration of humanity's search for knowledge, but for the DLC, it adds a darker element by focusing on the consequences of pursuing that knowledge too far. Now, due to that pursuit of knowledge, the people of House Va'ruun have faced a tragic situation that happened. Before the events of the DLC, there was a secret experiment involving grav drive technology, which went really bad. The failed experiment resulted in a massive tear in the fabric of space-time, which is known as the Vortex Incident. Now, this tear in space-time swallowed a significant portion of the Va'ruun capital, which is known as Dazra, which created a massive crater in the city, like you've seen right here. Now, the event itself is known as the Vortex Incident, and it's still pretty fresh on the minds of the Va'ruun people. So once we arrive, that will be the thing that's top of mind. Now, what's interesting is the supplies on the planet are limited, and the city remains in chaos with people still searching for their missing loved ones. Now, in addition to the crater that was left in Dazra City, the Scaled Citadel, the seat of Va'ruun power, is actively trapped within a strange energy field as a result of the incident. Now, the leader of the House Va'ruun, I believe the name is Anasco Va'ruun, and the speaker of the Great Serpent has gone missing during this event, leaving a power vacuum in his absence. The other houses of Va'ruun, once unified under Anasco's leadership, now vie for control of the faction's future, with each side having its own agenda. Former members of Va'ruun society, known as the Zealots, want to continue the Serpent's crusade, demanding credits, firearms, or even political power in exchange for their support. Now, the planet Va'ruun has a completely distinct visual identity, with the developers describing the planet as quote-unquote very alien compared to other locations in the game. Now, the Vortex Incident has caused the barrier between reality and other dimensions to break down, which has allowed creatures from the other side, such as the Vortex Horror, to slip through, which these creatures are sensitive to disturbances in the barrier, resulting in terrifying ambush scenarios. Which brings us to the combat and gameplay for this DLC. So while the main game focused a lot on the ranged gunfights, this DLC will focus more on close quarter style combat, which their goal is to emphasize the mystery and horror elements of space, resulting in a more chaotic and aggressive combat encounter. From everything that I've seen so far about Starfield Shattered Space DLC, I'm really excited for it, honestly. It seems like they've taken all of our feedback that we had from the base game and are applying it into this DLC. But the question now remains is whether or not it will be enough to bring a lot of the players back, even though Starfield has a pretty good player count right now. Having about 8,300 players on Steam right now is pretty good for them, and it's only going to get better once this expansion releases, as well as other mods get further developed. Will it be enough for a 10-year plan? I don't know. Could this be the No Man's Sky moment for Starfield? Which I honestly don't even think that's really needed, because I thought Starfield launched in a pretty good spot, but I do feel like this is a strong stepping stone to really cement itself for that 10-year plan. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe with your notifications turned on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.